Hello and welcome to the first of many flipped lessons that you will have in science this year. You all, of course, know that I am Mr. Turner. Hopefully you have subscribed to my YouTube channel at this point. If you have not, please make sure you take the time to do that, as it will make accessing videos in the future much easier. Today we're going to be talking specifically about ocean systems, human dependence, and modification. So how do we depend on the ocean, and how do we affect the ocean both positively and negatively? One of the themes that you will see as you explore your science career is just going to be how humans tend to, kind of wreck everything. We tend to, in our interactions with the ocean or whatever environment we're dealing with, we tend to cause ill effects, and then we have to go and repair them. So that's going to be what we're discussing today in this lesson. As a quick reminder, you received a sheet that looks like this for homework. It is C notes, as you can see. I do not expect you to do the questions in summary right now. All I expect is that you complete the notes portion of this lesson. So as you follow along in the notes, you should be completing this through the PowerPoint and through the video. All right. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to jot those down off to the side, or we can jot them here in the questions section, and that would be totally okay. Normally the question will correspond with the answer, but for the purposes of this first video, if you want to ask me something in class, just jot it down, and we'll deal with that. But otherwise, don't worry about questions, don't worry about summary. We're going to do those in class tomorrow. So, ocean systems, human dependence, and modification. So, the first slide here shows what you can see here in the corner. We've got some food web action going on here. So, take a look right off the bat. It's pretty complicated. So, you can see the interdependencies, which is a vocabulary word we have been using, between each of the organisms within this food web. It's complex. So what happens when a human interacts with this ecosystem? Say we modify the turtle, for example. Then everything that's connected to that turtle, directly or indirectly, will then be affected. So it's extremely, extremely important that as we are interacting with the oceans, that we're doing so responsibly. And in the other video, or other picture, we have what appears to be arrows. I'm sure you can probably figure out that those arrows represent the direction of water movement. So we've got, for example, the Gulf Stream, the North Atlantic, the North Equatorial. So the water does move, and with that, every interaction that we do affects other parts of the world. It's not just a local thing, it's a global thing. When we had the BP oil spill in the Gulf, look where that goes. It goes all over the place. So all of our interactions do affect more than one area. Two major systems in the ocean. We've got ocean currents, like we just discussed, and we've got ocean food webs. Human dependence. We depend on the ocean for numerous things. Weather is one of them. Here you can see we've got parts of the water cycle. So if you look closely, you can see that evaporation pushes water up, it condenses, it precipitates. We've got ocean runoff that takes it to the ocean. We've got evaporation occurring over the ocean, condensation, precipitation. So weather is a huge influencing factor in why we depend on the ocean. So the oceans regulate the temperature of the planet. Water, as a general rule, tends to make our temperatures more stable. If you're near an ocean, you're going to have really nice temperatures all year round. If you're not near an ocean, you're going to have extreme hot and extreme cold. So that last little bit was that water heats and cools more slowly than land, which does affect local temperatures. What else do humans depend on the ocean for? At the top, I'm sure you could probably figure out what that is. Looks like some seafood. Get some crabs and some shrimp. On the second one, we got a boat that's got a bunch of different crates and boxes on it. And on the last one, we got a guy that is water skiing. So what else do we depend on the ocean for? We depend on it for food. Seafood provides a lot of the world's protein, specifically in coastal cities, coastal countries, island cities. You're going to see that they depend heavily on that seafood. Transportation. Most of the world's goods are they're transported by ship. Why is that? Because if you put it on a plane, that's going to cost more. You're going to have a lot more problems transporting goods from one place to another. Recreation. Many countries' main source of income is through ocean tourism. Human dependence. So oxygen, of course, is important. Blue-green algae, which is prevalent in oceans, provides the majority of the oxygen in our atmosphere. That's critical. We have to have that oxygen. Human modification, in other words, how do we modify the food webs, the ecosystems within oceans? One way is by overfishing. Another word for overfishing is harvesting. Like you would harvest a crop, you could harvest fish within the ocean. It does disrupt food webs, and it may cause organisms to migrate to other areas. You can see the interdependencies once again. If we overfish tuna, then we've now affected the squid, we've affected the lantern, we've affected everything that eats the tuna, which would be the small sharks, large sharks, the marlins. So there is a large amount of interdependency, and if we overfish one organism, we're messing up the entire food web. That's a problem. Human modification continued. We can positively impact an environment, an ecosystem within the ocean through artificial reefs. So the question then is, what is an artificial reef? An artificial reef is a human-made underwater structure that's typically built for the purpose of stopping erosion, promoting marine life, restoring damaged reefs, and increasing tourism through fishing and through scuba diving. We're not going to watch that video right now. We'll watch that in class later on. But overall, and you see in the picture there's a car with a diver. That car could be a human-made artificial reef. So what is an artificial reef? It promotes marine life. That's pretty much the one that we're most concerned with. When we damage reefs in the ocean, natural reefs, coral reefs, basically what we're doing is we're displacing a lot of organisms. We're pushing them out of their home, so we have to find a way to provide them with a new home. Otherwise, those organisms are in danger of becoming extinct. So by providing them with a safe place to live, we have effectively promoted growth of that population. Another way that humans modify the environment is through runoff and pollution. So specifically phosphorus and nitrogen in fertilizer can cause pollution in the ocean, as can factory waste. If we put factories near an ocean, we're going to have a large amount of pollution occurring in the oceans, and thereby we are damaging those ecosystems. Easily fish can be killed by that. Fertilizer is one that a lot of people don't think of. When we have farmland and it rains, that runoff can reach the ocean and cause damage to the ecosystem there as well. So another harmful thing would be called algal blooms or red tides because of the color that pollution and runoff does produce. So I want you to think about it. In what ways, other than what we've discussed, are humans affecting the ocean, and in what ways are humans benefiting the ocean? That's going to conclude our notes for today. Hopefully you have completed your C notes on your page. If you have any blanks or any questions, feel free to come in for tutorials and we'll get those taken care of. Additionally, we will be working on the questions and summary in class. So if you have not completed this, please make sure you do that before you arrive to class tomorrow. Thank you again. This is Mr. Turner signing off for the day. I'll see you soon.